guys and welcome to today's video, and today I really wanted to show you how I get like really cool beachy kind of waves. I've had my hair like this in a couple of recent videos and I thought I'd show you guys what I use and how I use it to get those curls. This is something quite new to my routine. I bought this tool out of birthday money I got to spend on Beauty Bay, and for some reason it's really caught my eye that if it worked, I knew it would work so well, but I did also think it may have been a bit of a gimmick. But it's actually ended up working so well that I can literally do my hair in this technique that I'm about to show you. It takes me about 15 minutes of a morning and I can do it before work. I've been quite often going to work with kind of very curly hair. The reason I do that is because the perm look is gonna be really in this year, and it's such a good way for someone like me that has very like naturally flat, kind of dull looking hair. This is my hair straightened. I straightened it a couple of hours ago and it just is a bit lifeless, and that's just something I've always struggled with, having very thin flat hair. It just looks a little bit lifeless, and I've had my hair kind of straight like this for so long. It was really nice to actually find something that works really well. The product in question is this Babyliss Pro. This is their deep waver. I'll leave a link to this in the description box because if you do want to try it out, you can, like I said, get it from Beauty Bay, so it's really easy if you're in the UK, and I'm sure that you can get this in other places in the US as well. It's basically this like crimper styled like curler, so it's really innovative in the way that it works. This is obviously uses the same technique as crimping, so it's thrown it right back to like the 90s, which I love. I loved using this for the first time. It gave me like proper nostalgia of like having massively frizzy hair because I crimped it. So it works in a very similar way. It basically will make 3 waves, but like I said, I will show you in more detail what it is like. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Like, it's just plain black and it has these like rose gold embellishments on it, which is really cute too. I also really like it's got like a 360 swivel cord, so kind of no matter what position I'm doing, it doesn't really matter. I know my straighteners didn't used to have that and I used to kind of get all twisted. I think that quite a lot of the makes have kind of upped their game, but this for me just works so good. In terms of price, it was like £70 from Beauty Bay, which initially I thought was quite expensive. Even though I had a £50 voucher, I know I could have got so much more on Beauty Bay for that. But I also thought if it works, then, you know, you'd easily pay like £100 for a pair of straighteners. So something that will give my hair a lot of life is definitely worth it. So yeah, I'm going to show you how I use it and how I get literally beachy waves in like 10-15 minutes. It's so easy. So the first thing that I do is I obviously plug them in. They've got a really long cable, which is really handy for anyone like me who has like their plug socket quite far back. It does reach really far, and when you turn it on, there are 3 buttons. So you have the on and off switch, you have a option to turn down the temperature and an option to turn it up, which is really good. I love products where you can change the temperature. That's the only thing I don't like about my GHDs, is that it's like a fixed heat, so it really does damage my hair. So with this you can kind of like determine how hot you want it to use against your hair. So you can have it kind of, I think it's 170 is the lowest and 210 is the highest. So when I normally do it, I use 190. The reason for that is that I found that this heat works really well in keeping my hair curly all day long. Literally, I will curl my hair at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you know, it actually lasts me until the next day. All I need to do is kind of re-crimp little bits to give it a bit more volume, and I can actually get 2 days wear out of curly hair. And when I would use like tong curlers, my hair wouldn't even hold it for like a couple of hours. So really impressed, which is why I just wanted to show you how I use them, because I couldn't see any videos about them. I really wanted to see like other people's reviews, and there literally was nothing. So I don't know if these are quite new. So I'll get into showing you how they work. Like I said, you just press on. So it's the bottom button there, and by default it's on 170. I am going to turn that up to 190, which is the middle option, and you can see all the numbers up here. If you're not too sure, you can see it very clearly and it illuminates, and then I'll just wait for that to heat up. The good thing with this product is that it comes with a heat mat, which is really useful because I had one and I don't really know where that went. I think I lost it in the move, and now my straighteners and this do live on that, so it's really handy to get a heat mat with them. But it is also really important to note that one side is like kind of plastic and you can touch that, but the kind of bubbled up side heats up, and they heat up so quickly. Like, I can use them now and they don't beep or anything to let you know that they're done, but you can kind of tell. Literally just plug them in and you're pretty much ready to go straight away. So before I get started, I am just gonna loosely section my hair. When I say that, I'm literally just gonna divide my hair in half. This is the best way that I find doing it, and this is also the way that I straighten my hair, so it doesn't really differ from how I straighten to how I kind of curl it. So I think that everyone will have their own technique, but I do use quite big sections at a time, and that just really helps, you know, the speed of getting it done. If I want to do it before work, I allow myself an hour to get ready, and anytime more than 15 minutes is going to be a problem. So I grab the, like, I kind of want to call them crimpers, they're not, they're deep wavers, and then I always work so that the side that doesn't get hot is against my head, so if for any reason I push it against my skin, it's not going to burn me. And so using that, I'm just going to take a small amount, and then I go as high to my head as I possibly can, and then I just hold it for a couple of seconds, and then I'll then take it down, and you just want to join it up where it finished. You just want to join it back up, and then it's going to create that kind of like curl. The good thing with these as well is that you can make them a little bit disjointed, which obviously makes them a lot more natural looking, and you can just experiment with what works for you. As I'm doing it, I am pushing it up towards my head in a similar technique as when you curl it and then you kind of push it back up. It's going to really help those curls like lock into your hair. But this is so good in actually curling your hair that you don't actually need to think too much about it. And then I'll just keep doing that like that. Then as I get to the end of my hair, I don't really keep it crimped for too much longer, just because the end of my hair is obviously a lot more fragile than the top. So that's kind of like that. As you can see, it's quite like loose and stuff. Let me do the other side. So that's the first section done, and you can already see how literally like curly they are. I just love it because you can kind of go like that. They don't recommend brushing it because then it causes a bit of static, so I just run my fingers through it just to kind of divide them all up. And then I will literally just take another section and just work up towards the top of my head, and then I use a slightly different technique when I get right to the top. But for the rest of it, I kind of just keep a third tied up. And then I'll just grab again another section. You don't really have to be that kind of mathematic with the sizes of the hair, because the smaller you do the sections, the more curly they'll probably end up, but it gives that variety of your hair, which makes it look a lot more natural and kind of a bit more beachy. But for me, I normally just work in big sections, and then I'll just take little bits as and when I need to. But I just find it just works so well. So now I'm just going to take kind of like the final sections, but I'm just going to divide about an inch on my parting and just kind of hold that back, because that just requires something slightly different, and because obviously the top is really how it all joins together. So I'm just going to tie that up like that, just get it out of the way. Now I'm just going to work on this final like section of hair, and then I'll show you how I focus it on top to make it look slightly more like ununiformed and just slightly different. So I'll just whiz through this bit. Obviously, the higher you get up towards like your parting and like the top of your head, that's when you kind of want to concentrate a little bit more on how it looks. Underneath, it doesn't really matter because it's just creating volume. But on top here, you do just kind of want to make sure that everything looks as you want it to. The good thing with these is that if you hold it down for longer, you're going to get much tighter curls and much more like prominent curls. But if you hold it only a couple of seconds, you're going to get like a really loose curl. For me, I'd say this is almost like mid. I don't hold it down too long, but I don't hold it down too little. And this for me is just what works. But with these, it just takes a little bit getting used to. But as soon as you're used to it, you'll get comfortable with how long to work on your hair. So with the top section here, I am going to just basically, I'm gonna take it from the back, put the rest of it, just tie it up forward here, and then work from the back coming forward. This is gonna help not get the lines where it will suddenly be like crimped and then not. So now I've done that, I'm just going to part in my hair and then just look to see if there's any sections that either I've missed or that need a little bit more curls. Once you've kind of parted it, you can kind of see what needs a little bit more attention. But even now, like, it is very like full on, but you can calm it down a little bit if you didn't run your fingers through it. Like, I like to separate it to give it more kind of body, because naturally when you first do it, it is very kind of out there, but give it a couple of hours, it will mellow down a little bit, but it does maintain the curls, which I really, really love. So I'm just gonna kind of touch up a little bit and then I'll be right back. Not only that, I'm also taking sections from the top of my hair and then just really concentrating on the top to make it look like it's coming from all different directions. This is something that I've always done, and I just feel like it just makes a bit more difference, where it just looks really natural, like it is genuinely your hair that is like this. So this is the finished look. I would be happy to go out like this, and I just love how much more body it gives my hair, and it just looks so natural. Like, I think it looks like I have very naturally curly hair, and the reason for that is that sometimes when I have curls, I feel like it has to be set in a certain way, and at any time I move my hair, it does kind of separate and looks a little bit weird. That's on my hair anyway, but with this, like, it does really separate, so I can have like bits on the back of my hair and then it looks absolutely fine. I can bring it forward and it just, you know, it doesn't look uniformed, and it doesn't need to be. And yeah, I just really like the fact that it's so different, and it is quite, you know, it has a lot of volume, and that's something that I've always lacked when I've had such thin hair. I feel like if you have thicker hair, you obviously don't need to run your fingers through it. When I do that, it does separate the curls and it does, you know, add that bit more bounce to the hair. But if you had thicker hair, you could just run them down very quickly and then let your hair just naturally set, and just really concentrate on the top, add in a bit of volume, but you can leave like the lower layers to just kind of sit very naturally once you do it. I obviously run my fingers through it just to create as much volume as I can. So that took me 20 minutes in total, and obviously I was stopping and chatting and stuff. So normally I would do that in 15 minutes, and yeah, I just find it really, really easy. I love the tools. I just find it just perfect for what I need. I find it very practical to use. I've never burnt myself, which is saying something because I even managed to do that with my GHDs, so I'm sure it's only time, but so far I've been okay. But yeah, I just really love how dramatic the curls are, and I just feel like they are going to be very in this year. It's all about like big fluffy hair. Like I said, it's kind of that perm look, but this is a great way to get like it looking like you have a perm without actually doing that damage to your hair. Obviously these tools do heat up, so you are adding heat to your hair, but to be honest they're a lot better than using my GHDs because like I said, I can't lower the temperature of those, and you can just use heat protection spray and it adds that extra layer of protection. But yeah, for a 15-minute hairdo, I feel like there's a lot of difference with how my hair is looking, and I personally literally love it. I've received so many compliments, especially at work. People are like, oh my god, I love your hair, and I really do like it, and I didn't know if those kind of products were going to work. I thought either they're going to work wonderfully like they do, or they're just going to look a little bit, I don't know, sometimes they look a bit zigzaggingly because they are like crimpers. You know, like when a crimp was kind of like a triangle, sometimes deep wavers can have that similar effect where it is a bit triangular. Whereas this, I feel like it just, you know, it looks quite messy, it looks quite beachy, but it definitely looks like curls, and you'd never know that I use that kind of tool to create something like this. So yeah, that is my little hair routine, a little bit different for my channel, but I kind of want to do more of a variety of content this year. I really want to get back into blogging as well. I'm really going to make it my mission. But yeah, I hope you've really enjoyed this video, and let me know if you have any more like video suggestions or anything in the comments, because I love taking your comments on board and I always do plan around them. Other than that, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!